Hello, hello, my friends. Another dedicated candle review for you today. I'm going to be talking about the HOMEWORX Elton John collaboration, and this is the fragrance called Ginger Spiced Pudding. Now, full disclosure, this candle was sent to me in PR from HOMEWORX. I am a brand ambassador for Slatkin & Co. However, you guys know if you've been with my channel any length of time, I review a lot of candles that are sent to me in PR, and I also review a lot that I have purchased with my own money. And B, regardless of the method of how they come into my candle collection, I do always strive to provide a very honest and thorough review and leave it up to you to determine if a candle would be a good fit in your home. So let's go ahead and get into this one. This is actually a 3-wick candle. It is in some of this like special commemorative packaging. I think it's really pretty. Actually, we've got the E here for the Elton John, and then it looks like piano keys. It was kind of inspired, obviously Elton John, amazing piano player. So they did something a little bit outside of the box. I do think that the packaging is pretty on this. I'm going to find a way to repurpose this vessel for something because the packaging is just too pretty to not do that. But like I said, this is a 3-wick vessel. You know what? I forgot to look up how many ounces of wax is in here. I will make sure that I pop that up on the screen and put that in the description box down below for you. So this is not as large as one of the standard 4-wick 18-ounce vessels that HOMEWORX is typically known for. This is one of their 3-wicks. I believe that this collection is still exclusive to QVC. It is available in a duo. I'm not sure of the price point of that, as that can fluctuate with TSVs or with just, sale pricing and whatnot. But as of right now, at the time that I am filming this video, this is a collection that is exclusive to QVC. Let's go ahead and talk about the fragrance notes on this candle. They are listed as gingerbread pudding, mulled spices, candied orange, and vanilla bean. Now, truthfully, you guys, I have never had gingerbread pudding, so I cannot speak to the authenticity of this fragrance, but I will tell you, what do I smell here? Interestingly enough, I definitely smell a pudding scent here. This has definitely got almost kind of like that creamy consistency that a pudding has in scent form. I hope that makes sense. I definitely smell a little bit of ginger in here, although I will tell you that it is not the spicy gingerbread accord that I typically have come to know and love from HOMEWORX. Now, that being said, gingerbread pudding I've never had before, so I'm assuming that because it's a pudding, it's a lot more toned down than say like a gingerbread cookie or even like a gingerbread house. It's probably not going to be as spicy. My nose does also detect a little bit of that candied orange accord in here. Now, nowhere near would I say that this is a citrus fragrance, but I do think that the candied orange does lend a little bit of fruity sweetness to this candle that, again, is not an overly fruity scent. It's still definitely like it's just a pudding scent. Mulled spices, yes, I do get some of those. It's not an overly spicy type of fragrance. It's just a very kind of like cozy gourmand scent, but it's gourmand in a pudding gourmand scent, not gourmand in what we typically like to think of as like a bakery gourmand. That's not what you're going to get. Base note of vanilla bean. Yes, there is some vanilla in here, again, which is kind of keeping the fragrance from being too spicy, I think. This one's a little bit more of a complex fragrance to really explain. Other than I would say that if you have had a gingerbread pudding before, like again, I haven't, but this is what I would think a gingerbread pudding would smell like. There is a little bit of ginger, there's a little bit of spice in here, but the spices are a little bit more toned down. And it sounds funny. It's like I smell creaminess, but the creaminess is not vanilla creaminess. It's a creaminess that I would get from a flavored pudding. Not quite butterscotch, obviously not chocolate, but yeah, it would indicate a gingerbread pudding. Let's go ahead and talk about the performance of this candle because this is where I've got a couple of things to say. So we're going to go ahead and lift this up and you can look at the wicks here. I have gotten quite a ways down on this candle. Sorry, you guys, my camera angle got a little bit off there. You can see some wick residue in here. Now, these wicks I have been trimming, although they do not get excessively like sooty or carbon ball like, so you could probably get away with not trimming them. I personally just like to. Now, one of the things you might see here is that there is a little bit of excess wax there along the rim. Do you see that right there? That has been a pretty consistent issue with this candle from the get-go. I will say that it did really struggle to pull out completely. The first burn I did on this candle was about a 5-hour burn. And for a 3-wick like this, even like the diameter is, I feel like, appropriate or in proportion to this candle being a 3-wick. The opening diameter is not the same size as the 4 wicks. So even then, I was still a little bit surprised that we were dealing with a lot of these issues that have been pretty consistent with HOMEWORX this year, where the first burn, for whatever reason, they just have a really hard time completely pulling out. Now, it did take me about 3 burns for that to go away. Once I started leaving this candle burning for about a 3-4 hour window on successive burns, I did notice that I did achieve a complete wax pool. But again, you guys, the wicks on this candle, they are a little bit thinner. They're not too thick. They're not burning super hot. They're not getting puny. But I will say that they take a little bit longer to achieve a full wax pool on this particular candle. Despite that being the issue, I will also say that the first couple of burns reflected I would say the performance reflected the inability to completely achieve a full wax pool, because the first 2 burns of this candle, I did not think that this was very strong. I was having kind of a little bit of difficulty smelling it. I would say it was probably between like a 4 and a 5 in terms of strength and projection. However, once I got on my 3rd burn of this candle, I will say that that increased dramatically. I'm not really sure what happened, but on the 3rd burn of this candle, I did notice that the strength and throw increased quite a bit, and the strength went up to about like 6.5, 7. However, the throw was pretty good. Throw on this candle has been about an 8, which is pretty good, I would say, for a 3-wick candle, especially with HOMEWORX. Some of their 4-wick candles don't even perform that well. And again, being that this fragrance is not overly spicy, it's a little bit more kind of like creamy, not a super heavy fragrance on cold sniff. I was actually surprised to see that this fragrance throws so well. It is a fragrance that I do tend to go a little bit nose blind to when I am in the same room. However, if you burn this in a smaller, more closed concept room, you're probably going to smell it a lot better. But even out in my open concept, it was still noticeable and present without being cloying or overwhelming. I do think that it is well done. The fragrance in and of itself is fairly unique. It's a little bit more sophisticated, I would say, of a gourmand fragrance than some of your like run-of-the-mill other, even I would say HOMEWORX does gourmand candles very, very well, and they usually are a little bit sophisticated. But even this collection, I think, is just a notch up in terms of the sophistication factor, which honestly, I wouldn't expect anything less from an Elton John collaboration. So that being said, you guys, I can't really necessarily say that I would give this candle like, I want to say, I can't really say that I give it 2 thumbs up, because it's not a fragrance that I feel like I need backups of. It's nice. It's not a scent that I probably would have purchased had I gone into a store and sniffed it. I like it. It's okay, but it's not really in my wheelhouse. So if you and I have similar fragrance preferences, I don't think that you really need this fragrance in your collection. However, if you are somebody who knows what ginger spiced pudding smells like, if you tend to like fragrances like this, if the fragrance notes appeal to you, and maybe if you have a more smaller, closed concept style of home, then I do think that this candle would probably be a good addition to your collection. So that, you do with it what you want. That is the information that I currently have. I do not know if this fragrance is going to be making its way over to the Slatkin & Co. website, but like I said, currently, as of the time that I'm filming this, it is available on the QVC website in a duo. So feel free to comment down below if you have burned this candle. What has your burn experience been? I would love to hear your feedback. I always mention that I'm one person in this candle community. There's a lot of people, a lot of content creators who share their opinions, but a lot of you guys, I love hearing your opinions in the comment section, because that can be a wealth of knowledge as well. Please hit that thumbs up button if you found this review helpful. It helps me out with the old YouTube algorithm and growing my channel, building this little community that we have here. Consider subscribing to my channel if you're new and you like candle content. I do a lot of dedicated reviews like this, as well as hauls, empties, and a lot of just fun candle stuff in between. So feel free to stick around by hitting that subscribe button. It does not cost you one dime to do so. I do want to say thank you so very, very much for spending your time here with me today. And until my next one, I hope you all go out and have a very blessed day. Bye.